There we go. Good morning. I want to talk about rethinking artificial intelligence and research in higher education. The thing that we have to acknowledge very first up is AI is already strongly embedded in our research ecosystem. Researchers are already using AI for literature synthesis, for coding and for data analysis, for drafting abstracts, and also for translating content, plus a plethora of other things that have been evolving not only over the past couple of years, but actually before that as well. The problem is many of the universities globally are still stuck in the concept or the notion that AI is cheating as a discourse with a focus on students rather than overall productivity and output that a university can generate. I think we kind of often say AI is on the horizon, but the truth is it's not on the horizon. It's now extremely embedded in how research happens today. We have a policy paralysis, and this really comes down to universities having very outdated or incoherent guidance on the use of AI, which undermines research innovation. Now, that's a problem. So a lot of universities on the global scale rely on very generic teaching-focused AI statements or assessment-focused AI statements. These policies tend to ignore research usage. They tend to conflate AI use with academic dishonesty, and they often offer little or no guidance on what is acceptable AI tools and or outputs. Few institutions are providing guidelines or training for researchers to use AI responsibly and, of course, productively. And this effectively leaves our researchers, especially early career academics, but also a few of us, more seasoned ones as well, without the clarity or the support that we need. It risks stifling innovation due to fear, uncertainty, or frankly, lack of clarity. We need to take this now as an opportunity to move from reactive, which most universities are, to proactive, supporting researchers with clearer, more AI-informed research frameworks that's going to enable them to enhance productivity and to be able to curate and to contribute to knowledge production. We also have to think about an emerging issue, which is a case for AI ethics clearance processes. We typically have ethics processes for anything related to human subjects, but we don't seem to be thinking forward enough that it's going to relate to AI as well. So often we require human ethics clearance for interviews, surveys, participant data, all the typical research things. But how about for embracing and engaging with AI as part of either the data, the methodology, or the ongoing analysis process? So what happens when we as researchers use AI tools to help shape our hypotheses, to analyze our data, to generate content? Not that I want to advocate for that. The ethical issues here are actually quite obvious. There is the concern about AI data bias and also data opacity. there is issues associated with authorship and uh, originality of research and research questions. And there's also issues, of course, about the transparency of reporting AI involvement within any research project. It's very simple. As a logical next step, I guess, is to introduce a very simple integrated AI ethics clearance, not as a gatekeeper per se, but as a prompt that gives us ethical reflection on how we're progressing with the work that we're doing. It's also an opportunity to reinforce a commitment to transparency as to how you are doing the research and who or what is actually involved in the research. And it is, in a way, I guess, a opportunity to future-proof some of the research standards. Research ethics is a constant negotiation and renegotiation. And although we think we've got it right for human standards, there's still room for adjustments. And as we bring in and as we engage with artificial intelligence, of course, there's going to be certainly more. I want to finish this element before I move on with a simple quote. If we require ethics clearance for interviewing a person, should we not require some form of reflection when outsourcing the thinking to a machine? How do we go about then looking forward and looking towards tomorrow with AI and research in higher education? It's about co-creation, not replacement. The future isn't about AI replacing researchers. I don't think that's ever going to happen, certainly not within my lifetime and maybe not within all of ours. But AI is co-creating with us. As such, institutions need to do a few different things. First, invest in equitable AI access. Provide AI literacy training for staff and students. And rethink concepts like authorship, collaboration, knowledge production, and how all of that is going to come together. I also want to add on thinking about both the localization, the globalization, and the globalization of different AI platforms and how that can influence what we produce, what we understand, and what we ultimately get exposed to. Higher education has got to shift away from being AI avoidant to being much more AI aware. Not sort of following it, but knowing that it's going to be a part of the process regardless of what happens. The challenge for us as academics, as researchers, and as universities is not whether we are going to use AI in research. It's actually whether we are prepared to use it wisely, ethically, and inclusively. Thank you.